If you are the type of person who always stays in your room all the time and rarely go outside to interact with people, then I really think that my story will help you a lot. So, back when I was 10 years old, I first joined secondary school. I really want to make friends when I first joined school. And before that, I was a kid that are not really good at communicating with people. I always had trouble speaking to people and connecting with them. So you can say that I'm a bit slow at that point. So I made an effort to approach a lot of people to say, hey, do you want to make friends with me? And like only a few of them made friends with me. And throughout the times we were hanging out, they kind of make fun of me for some reason. Like all of them team up and you know they make fun of me. And even for some, whenever we are in a group conversation, I shared my opinion, then everybody will ignore me and they keep on moving on to other question, and it's just laughing with each other and giggling. And I feel kind of left out. So as a way to cope, I gradually, day through day, I started to stay in my room a bit longer throughout the years. And you know, when I stay in my room, I was always thinking about why did those friends make fun of me? Why did I deserve this? Why is it me? And I feel kind of hurt and a bit traumatic as well. So as a way to deal with that problem, I asked my mom for her phone, and I would watch YouTube for hours on end. And I started to get addicted to YouTube and video games at the same time. Because whenever I was on video games, whenever I was watching a Minecraft marathon, I would feel really safe. I would feel secure, and it's just feels like I've escaped this cruel world and going into a fairyland where everything is just in your control, and it's just sunshines and rainbow all the time. And it started to getting worse and worse, and until the point my mother started to complaining about my screen time, and our relationship was started to go south. Even my dad as well, he always school me a lot for my screen time. And to be honest, at that point, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how else would I cope without the phone and YouTube and video games. And I ignore my parents and I keep on, you know, doing what I do before. I played more video games. I watched more hours on YouTube, and my life starting to go down and down and down and down. My friends started to make fun of me more, and because where as you watch more videos games and play more video games and watch more YouTube videos, you start to lose your aura. Like this came from my experience, because whenever I spend way too long time playing video games or watching YouTube, like after that, I would feel so dizzy. There will be a haze that went inside my head, and I couldn't look at people. I couldn't talk normally because my brain was fried with dopamine. And so things start to go downhill, man. I started to kind of lock myself in the room after the studying period, and it kept went on and on until I was 17. And you know, there was one day where nothing unusual happens. I was on my way to studying and go and grab some water in the canteen, and I met this one dude. You know, I've met him since kindergarten, but we never talked to each other. So, and like for some reason, I think that if I don't speak to him, I can never speak to anyone in my whole life. And I approached him. I asked him, hey, how are you doing today? And to my surprise, he smiled and he have a really good conversation with me. He replies, "Yeah, how's it going for you?" And we can keep on chatting and chatting. And I eventually found out that he had an interest in bodybuilding. So I asked him to have a workout together because I was you know going to the gym at that point as well. So we started to go out more. I started to you know cut off relationship with YouTube and video games and start developing that relationship with weightlifting and calisthenics and healthy eating as well. Of course, I don't think that if I don't go out and approach him that day, I would be stuck in my room forever, and I wouldn't be even be here and recording this because I never knew that this method exists. It's a really good way to increase your communication skills as well. And to be honest, my first time was really scary. You know, I'm not familiar with going out and joining boxing clubs and working out with him. But I really think that in order for you to get through that first step of escaping the isolation that you are not wanted, you have to take the punch in the face initially, and as it gets you know further and further, as time goes by, it will be way easier. You will not feel that friction anymore. You'll feel like talking to people is a bit better than before because you have taken action. You have taken that first step of uncomfortable uncomfortability. And this might sound really scary for you, bro. Like, I know that for the fact that a lot of people spend most of their time watching anime and just playing video games and watching lots of YouTube and spending time on social media just in order to escape this reality of cruel humankind. And I don't really blame them because I used to be one of them. And I know that many people can relate to me because I at that point I never think that I would have the moment of the day. I would never think that I would be approaching people and started to sharing my stories and belief on YouTube. And it's all because actually it's all because of the change of mindset, bro. If you're feeling kind of lost right now, bro, because I really think that a lot of people have hurt you. A lot of things have not going your ways, and you're trying to escape. But the reality is how, you know, as many times that you escape the reality, the problem is still there. It will not go away until you solve it. And I think that the factor that affects your ability to change that here is the people. The people surrounding you are affecting your behavior and your mindset. So I would suggest you to reach out to like-minded people and people that are improving themselves and have a belief that is not like your game of friends or the friends that don't really care about you. They only care about the activities, and after that we are they're gone. They are done with you. And you know, I promise that if you do this, bro, if you just approach some people and just say, "Hey, I really like your suit. I really like your dress," and start up a conversation with strangers or even some of your classmates. I I promise that there will be someone that is out there waiting for you, and they might have the same circumstances as well. And and you might be wondering, why am I doing this in the first place? So there are lots of benefits to not staying inside your room. And the first thing is that talking to people just really make you naturally happier, like over time, because when you're having a really good conversation and you are connecting with the other people, with the other person, your brain will start to produce lots of this neurochemical, and you'll naturally feel better and live a healthier and happier life if you do it in the long term. And it even train your communication skills, because a lot of people, they said, in their rooms, and they don't really develop the communication skills on a daily basis. So like me, I've stayed in my room for my whole life, and I'm really awkward. I'm really struggle with how I express my word, but I feel like it's a bit better now. And the last thing is that if you're on currently online and you never go out, you will start to perceive the world in a really messed up way, because on social media a lot of negative things are portrayed to the news feed to get to your attention. And some of this might be people that saying the outlandish shit, and they're saying slangs that the thing that everyone should say, and it's cool, following trends, and have this mindset of you only live once, so who cares about your health? Who cares about you know like improving yourself? And it's overall it's just an environment that is unhealthy for you. On TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts, on even on YouTube, it kind of is really destructive, and almost nobody realizes it until you go outside. You start to see that your perception is not really that true, because normal people, they live a normal life, and it's not really that extreme or dramatic as what is portrayed on social media. And yeah, if you make it here, I really want to say that you did really well today. Like, I know that this is really cliche, bro, but I know that in silence, you have done something that you are so afraid to do today. Maybe some of you not, but maybe some of you did, but no one really acknowledged you. So I just want to say that I'm really proud of you, man. I wish someone would say that to me when I was in my hard time. And I just want to spread some positivity. And what's wrong with that? So yeah, fuck it. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.